We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. Following another case of an abused Filipino worker, Senator Raffy Tulfo said the country should seriously consider imposing a deployment ban on Kuwait. Tulfo cited the case of Myla Balbag, an overseas Filipino worker who was paralyzed after jumping from the third floor of her employer's house. Tulfo claimed that Balbag was caught dancing on the video-sharing app TikTok by her employer and beaten up. She was taken to the hospital on January 21st. The report came after the death of Julie Biranara, a household helper whose charred body was discovered in a desert in the Gulf state on January 22nd. Tulfo, who also chairs the Committee on Migrant Workers, filed Senate Resolution number 448 requesting that the existing bilateral agreement and standard employment contract governing OFWs be revisited, re-examined, and reviewed. He also suggested the creation of organizations to address recurring issues and prevent further abuses. Meanwhile, Migrant Workers Secretary Susan Ople earlier noted that labor migration issues and concerns in Kuwait could be resolved through peaceful dialogue rather than imposing a deployment ban. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture, or DA, has set the suggested retail price of imported red onion at 125 pesos per kilogram. Agriculture Assistant Secretary Christine Evangelista said this will take effect on February 8. Evangelista said the 125 per kilo SRP was reached after a stakeholders meeting attended by importers, traders, and retailers. She said among the factors considered in determining the 125 peso SRP include importer's price, expenses after landed cost, and wholesaler's price. She said the agency had reached out to the Department of the Interior and Local Government and the Local Price Coordinating Council to help in information dissemination and monitoring. The DA earlier said that at least 3,500 metric tons of imported onions have been delivered to the country so far. No Filipino has been reported hurt or killed in the deadly 7.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked the southeastern part of Türkiye. The Department of Foreign Affairs said it continues to reach out to Filipino communities for updates. Meanwhile, the Philippine Embassy in Ankara continues to reach out to the Filipinos residing in the country. Based on the latest DFA data, there are at least 4,006 Filipino nationals in Türkiye, mostly based in Istanbul. Turkish officials said that among the provinces that suffer damage are Gaziantep, Kahramanmaraş, Hatay, Osmaniye, Adıyaman, Malatya, Sanliurfa, Adana, Diyarbakir, and Kilis. At least 76 people were reported killed while 440 others were hurt. The DFA said any Filipino affected by the quake who needs assistance may contact the embassy via phone or email. The magnitude 7.8 earthquake also struck northwest Syria at the same time as Türkiye, killing more than 230 people and injuring some 600 others. Hundreds more were reported trapped under rubble after buildings collapsed. The quake was also felt in Cyprus and Lebanon. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad held an emergency cabinet meeting to review the damage and discuss their next steps. The Department of Health plans to discuss with officials from the Department of Budget and Management on how to pay the delayed COVID-19 special risk allowance of healthcare workers. DOH Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergeres said DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman has recommended measures to prevent further delays in the payment. These include reforms on processing payments, maintaining a centrally managed disbursement of funds, and assessing compliance to target payment timelines. About 805,000 healthcare workers are receiving and have yet to receive their complete allowances since 2021. Under the 2023 national budget, 72 billion pesos had been allocated for the healthcare workers' allowance. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. earlier ordered to give medical workers their allowances despite the expiration of the state of calamity in the country. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the pages of the Presidential Communications Office and on Radio Pilipinas RP1. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change.